Welcome. This is a universally compliant, more environmentally friendly and rigless tubing compaction project presentation, made possible by the Oil and Gas Technology Center, Oil and Gas Innovation Center, the University of Glasgow, and Oilfield Innovations. The following deals with offshore logistics, and it's the fifth and last installment in this video series. Generally speaking, while some are cheaper than others, tubing compaction can use any offshore logistics. The lowest cost rigless options usually deal with wireline, capillary coiled tubing, and use in situ mobile cranes on small platforms to lift equipment aboard from boats, and also use either helipads or walk-to-work systems. A jack-up barge can use a bridge link to a platform to plug and abandon platform wells. Or for subsea wells, it can use a crane to suspend a lubricator and use riserless wireline or coiled tubing intervention. Where water depths are sufficient, a light well intervention vessel can also be used with rigless subsea intervention to perform subsea P&A using a lubricator and wireline or coiled tubing. These are all rigless options that don't hoist the tubing string or completion out of the well. Using a riser and hoisting the completion from a well involves significantly more expense. To lift and remove a completion, or if things become stuck, to pull them free, requires large lifting capacity, and that would generally require a drilling rig, whether it be cantilevered over a platform, or a floating drilling rig, which would float over the top of subsea installations. Or it could be a refurbished platform drilling rig. The question really becomes, which one of these would you like to pay for when performing offshore well P&A? Tubing compaction can use the lowest cost option, which is a jack-up barge, which you can connect to the platform via bridge link. Or alternatively, you could use a floating supply boat with a walk-to-work system to get onto the platform. When you look at the size of the jack-up drilling rig on the right, it's not hard to see why there's such a difference in cost. A jack-up drilling rig can have up to 100 people on it, though most times P&A only requires about the base crew, which is about 40. Tubing compaction can use wireline equipment, which, generally speaking, only takes 4 to 6 people to operate. Tubing compaction is also compatible with coiled tubing, which probably takes 10 to 12 people to operate. So the choice comes down to wireline with 4 to 6 people, coiled tubing with 10 to 12 people, and both have small tooling, or you can use a large drilling rig that needs at least 40 people and may have more. As with everything in the world, a picture's worth 1,000 words, and it's important to realize what options there are for logistics, because sometimes drilling rigs are just chosen because people believe that's the only way that you can get onto the platform or have room to work. Walk-to-work systems are prevalent in the North Sea and around the world, and involve a floating vessel with a motion-compensated gangplank that is extended to reach to the platform, so it's safe for people to walk across while the boat's moving. Jack-up crane barges with bridge links to normally unattended platforms are also prevalent in the southern North Sea, for example on the Horn and Wren decommissioning. Light well intervention vessels can also float above subsea installations and perform well abandonment, including severance of the wellhead and pulling the wellhead to surface as shown. Regardless of rig or rigless plug and abandonment, subsea installations and subsea plug and abandonment almost always require a remote operated vehicle. As you can see, there are many options for decommissioning platforms which could be used for wireline and coiled tubing intervention and plug and abandonment. The highest cost savings come from combining compaction P&A with other tasks, like production intervention. Not all your wells need to be abandoned at the same time, and while some wells are being intervened upon, others can be abandoned. The wireline spread shown here on the left is not that extensive and can be worked in with other activities. On the right is conductor removal during the horn and wren decommissioning activities. As you can see, the horn and wren decommissioning used both a jack-up barge with a bridge link and also a walk-to-work system. Crane barges and platform cranes can lift equipment onto a platform, for example, coil tubing shown here on the left, and any stuck conductors can be removed during platforming. The key thing to remember is that platform facilities, DECOM, and tubing compaction logistics don't require a drilling rig and can be accomplished by other means. Most companies use drilling rigs because it makes the logistics of P&A easy without realizing the associated high cost. About 50% of DECOM is well P&A. A drilling rig is 40 to 70% of well P&A cost, which makes it 20 to 35% of total DECOM cost. But you only need a drilling rig 20% of the time for casing milling, which means you don't need a drilling rig 80% of the time and you can save that cost. If a drilling rig is 20 to 35% of total DECOM cost, and you can cut it out of the equation 80% of the time, the total DECOM savings could be between 16 and 28%. Given the astronomical nature of total DECOM costs, that's quite a bit of savings, especially when you consider that you can provide the same quality of plug and abandonment with tubing compaction that you can with the rig, because both tubing compaction and a rig can provide casing access so that you can cement bond log the existing casing cement and place qualified plugs. Trying to shave small savings from a drilling rig budget is the same thing as being penny wise and pound foolish. If you really want to save decommissioning costs, invest in tubing compaction, qualify it, and put it to work. We've come to the end of this video. Thank you for watching, and check our website for other innovations. Thank you again.